Want to go off a count down WJRD's top 11 plus 50 survey for a minute and get into a Lost 45? Boy, I got a super treat for you. The original version of Some Kind of Wonderful. The song was best known by Grand Funk Railroad, or just Grand Funk. They took their version to number 3. This was in the winter of 74 and 75, but the original version. Soul Brother 6, the name of the band from Rochester, New York. Soul Brother 6 was Some Kind of Wonderful. They started out as 4 or 5 brothers, the Armstrong brothers. Sam, Charles, Moses, Harry, and Gene. If I read my chicken scratch correctly, John Allison was the lead vocalist, and they put out a couple of singles, didn't do anything, and a couple of brothers left the group. It was Harry and Gene who left the group. Those 2 singles they put out was Stop Hurting Me and I Don't Want to Cry, but they didn't do anything. And those 2 brothers, when they left, they were replaced by Fawn L. Benjamin and Lester Pellman, Peleman. They put out another single, and that single didn't do anything. And then another of the Armstrong brothers left. Sam Armstrong left, and that leaves, I guess that leaves about 2 of the Armstrong brothers as part of the new lineup. And they added a guy named Joe Johnson to the band. And it was after that change in lineup, they were introduced to Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records, the guy who coined the term rhythm and blues, the guy who discovered and produced Wilson Pickett and Aretha Franklin. A legendary guy behind the scenes, Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records. They were introduced to, the group was introduced to him through a Philadelphia DJ. They signed a deal with Atlantic Records, and then they released Some Kind of Wonderful. Yes, it's great. Just love it. Boy, they pour it out. They pour out that soul. They pour out their heart in that record. Not as slick. This is more raw than the Grand Funk Railroad version or Grand Funk version. They did a slicked up version of it. Probably no less powerful, but slicked up. But the drum beats in place, the whole caboose, everything's, the whole caboodle's in place on this record. Some Kind of Wonderful. But it didn't do anything, though. As a matter of fact, I don't think it even charted on R&B. But don't quote me on that. Went to number 91 on Billboard's Hot 100. That is it. Might have been a little too raw. This is a lot less sophisticated in sound than the Supremes and the Four Tops and the Motown record. Perhaps if they teamed up with Motown and had, say, Holland Dozier Holland working with them, they might have had a huge hit with this record. But as it is, Soul Brother 6 at number 91, and that's the peak of this record, Some Kind of Wonderful. They came out with some more records with the Atlantic record label, but, well, it bombed. They bombed again. They just couldn't get a hit record going, and they were dropped by Atlantic Records. John Allison did put out a couple of solo albums in the 90s. In 1993, he put out another one in 2000. John Allison wrote this record, Some Kind of Wonderful. Soul Brother 6. A WJRD Top 50 Extra brought to you by Mr. DJ.